Hello, send your photos instantly on today's call for help.
I hope these people can help me with my computer. A technician will be with you in 4 hours.
4 hours?
You can upgrade for just $5,000.
What?
The universal serial config board should be set to ID6.
I need that in plain English. Help!
Leo Laporte, call for help. May I help you?
That's what I
Look at that. That's pretty funny. Hi, welcome to Call for Help. How are you? Good to see you. Leo Laporte here. This is the show where we're going to help you with your personal confuser, get the most out of technology. That's what we do every single day on this show, and I do it with my helperettes. The Valley Girl. She's a Valley Girl from Mindanao. Monica Latanwa. That was very good. How'd you learn how to be a Valley Girl? Oh, okay, like,
Oh, that was
sure.
so bad.
And then it's like, oh, Andy Walker, he's so gorgeous. Andy of the cyberwalker.com clan.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Did you get a haircut?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that's very
new
cute.
hair.
Looks
new
good.
hair. I look funny on the first set of shows. So.
No, that's all right. You look good.
Thank you very much. Plus, after yesterday, not yesterday, but recently, we did a thing on Photoshop re-enhancement, and
Oh, yeah.
I felt
You're starting to feel a little bit
all self-conscious.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Leo?
I am very good with it. I did Vac, our producer. I shaved his head. Wasn't that good?
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Vac, who is a real character, and you'll get to know him a little bit as time goes by on this show, as we all have. But he had really long hair when I came here, and he used to wear his daughter's headbands. And everybody mocked him. So
When did they not mock back?
So we did this for a promo for the show before it went on the air. He said, "Oh, if Leo Laporte ever gets back on the air, I'll shave my head." So I shaved his head, right? Because I did. And everybody, it was so funny to see everybody around the channel just gathering around saying, "Yeah, go,
cheering,
go." Yeah, I mean they loved it.
Hooray!
And I understand that Basil saved a bag of your hair, Vac, for a voodoo doll. So if you're feeling some pains, anything, and aches and pains or anything, that's the guy to blame. Hey, what do we have on the show today, guys? Anything good?
Well,
no, let's forget it.
Let's go.
No, what's coming up? What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to play with photos.
Oh, you said that.
I love
Share your
playing with
photos.
photos, yeah.
We have a great free application that really is fun to play with.
Yeah.
And you're going to do firewalls, Andrew?
And firewalls, yeah. Let's talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about if you have one PC, do you need a firewall? And I'm going to kind of talk about what you need.
It's a great thing. And then subliminal messages with Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
Ooh, Heather McBurney, our new Microsoft Office expert, will be here. And I think you're going to like her a lot. She's going to be a lot of fun. I hear the phone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
That's so bad.
Who do we have here?
We actually have a NetCam caller.
Yes.
And it's Stephen from Toronto.
Oh, is there a valley in Toronto? Could he be a valley boy?
Don Valley Parkway.
The Don Valley, yeah.
He's a Don Valley boy. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Leo. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Welcome to Toronto.
I love Toronto. I've been having fun walking. I love to walk. And it's a great town for walking. So I've just been walking all over town and seeing so many things. And the nice thing about Toronto is you can never get lost because all you have to do is look up to see the CN Tower, and you just head to the CN Tower.
Yep,
That's right.
Right?
It's
Absolutely.
Direction
It
finder.
is. It's like a big compass needle in the sky.
Well, I hope you can get me unlost from a little problem I'm having with a Mac and PC.
Okay.
I have a home network, a combination of a couple of PCs, a file server running Outlook, Entourage on the Macs, and what I really want to do is make sure that everyone can coordinate and get the same email and same calendar wherever they log on.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Well, it's fairly easy to do with email. Calendaring and address books are a little more complicated. As you probably know, because you have some Macs, it's really easy just Mac to Mac using .Mac and iSync. I mean, they've really set it up so that it's very simple. My calendar, my iCal calendar, is shared all over the house. My wife has it, my kids have it, so that everybody knows what's going on. We have a family calendar. That's very easy. The problem is, how do we now get it to the PC? So, this is not a good solution, but I'm going to show you how I do it. I use my phone. I used to use my Palm. I would sync my Palm with the Mac, then I'd take it over, sync it with the PC, and then they'd be in sync. And both the Mac and the PC have ways to synchronize like for instance, with the PC, I could synchronize with Yahoo Calendar. With a Mac, I could synchronize with .Mac. So it was just that gulf, that divide between Macs and Windows that was really the one I had to cross. Now I use my phone because it also has a PDA built in, and I'll synchronize with iSync on the Mac to the phone, and then I'll synchronize with the software that came with the phone on the Windows side. That covers it. There are some better, perhaps, solutions, but they're not free. And they're a little more complicated. Let me show you email first, because that's probably the simplest one, and it takes nothing to do that. The key on that is very simple. With your email clients, change the settings so that you. Let me open an email client here. Actually, I'm trying to get over to my Windows machine. There we go. Change the settings so you leave the mail on the server for a little while, if that makes sense to you.
Right.
And then what will happen is you can use, I'm going to open Outlook here, and I'll show you how to do it in Outlook. You can then, I would say make it, a few days, a week in between collecting the mail. Let me go to the, more settings. And you'll see right here on Advanced, it says leave a copy of messages on server. Now, all of the machines, I do this for my email. This way I get copies of email everywhere. All the machines I use have this box checked, except for my main machine at home, which has that box checked, and then that machine has the removed from server box. And I say 7 days, because I figure if I don't pick up the mail on the other machines within 7 days, I'm not interested in it. Now, there are some drawbacks to doing this. For one, mail that you send will only appear on the machine you send it from.
Right.
So you don't share that, and you can sometimes get out of sync, which can cause some problems. What's really a problem is if somebody unchecks that box and deletes the mail when they get it. And the other problem is, of course, you have to delete the mail after a few days, otherwise your server will start to fill up and your ISP is going to yell at you, saying, wait a minute, you got hundreds of megabytes of email, would you please delete it? So, I mean, this is the poor man's way to do it. A better way to do it would be to use an IMAP server where you have a centralized mail store that everybody accesses. That's how companies do it. That's how America Online does it. They have a centralized server. Your email is stored there. You don't download it. You just look at it on the centralized server. In fact, if you use webmail, that's basically what you're doing as well.
Right.
So that's how to do the email. You could do that in every mail client. I do that. Like I said, there's some drawbacks, but it basically works. Now, let me show you on the Mac side, I have this one, so I'm going to switch back over to my Macintosh. There is a company that's trying to solve this, and I think might be a really good solution. It's not free. You can try it free for 30 days. They're called the Exchange Network, xcnetwork.com. And what they offer is a little server that can run on the Mac. That can actually, you probably would run it on a web server. But if you have a server running, if you have a Mac that's accessible for all your machines, it sounds like they are, right?
Yes, they are.
You could run this on the Macintosh. You can run it on the Windows side too. It's a little server. Each machine will then have a client that will connect, and this stores all the data. It's actually kind of interesting. It stores all the data on this one central server here. And then you can, over here, and then you can use the internet to connect to it, or you can connect through your own LAN and share this data. Now, this doesn't do mail, but it does everything else, including address books. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it does do mail. Address books and the calendar. So this is a really interesting solution. Now, it's not free. It's free for 30 days, and then it's $60 per user.
Okay.
So that maybe is going to be kind of disincentive for you.
I'll just cut some people off the network.
Yeah, exactly. The poor man's way to do it is just to use a Palm or something like that.
Right.
And that's just a bridge between the Mac and the PC.
Right.
Easy enough when you're on the same platform. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't tried this XC Connect. I just found it when I heard about your question. I thought, well, there's got to be a way to do it. And I bet there are others. And I would love to hear from anybody who has other ways that they connect their Macintosh data and their Windows data. Andy, you're waving your hand.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Palm solution is a good idea. I found a network application called LivePIM on livepim.com, which
Let's take a look at that.
is used to share and export, Palm desktop data between multiple Palm users. So, I mean, if you're a family, no.
Well, it's easy enough because you just sync. I sync with the Palm on the Mac. And it syncs all my data up onto the Palm. The Palm becomes an intermediate storage device, right? So I sync up with the Palm on the Mac, and then I bring it over to the Cradle on the PC. I sync it there. So in effect, the Palm is like this island that's floating back and forth, ship that's floating back and forth between these islands.
Yeah, 3Com tried to do that with the Audrey device. It was like a synchronizer for the family years ago, and
I bet you, Stephen, as time goes by and more people have this situation where they have heterogeneous networks, where they have Macs, PCs, maybe even some Linux boxes, there will be more and more solutions like this.
I'll keep an eye out for sure. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate the call.
Take
He's
care.
the system administrator for his family. Isn't that great? Take care, Stephen. Great to hear you. Take care. Coming up in just a little bit, a little fireside firewall chat with Andy. We'll talk about firewalls. It's easier to understand when we come back. Stay right here. Live pin, synchronized with Palm Desktop Canal. But wait a minute, that's... Nowadays, with everybody on the internet and people with home networks on the internet and everybody's hearing about hackers and bad guys out there, we're all concerned about protecting ourselves. And we're probably, I know you are hearing the word firewall come up a lot. What is a firewall? How does it protect you? And what kind of firewall should you use? Andy Walker is going to explain the ins and outs of firewalls to us. What is a firewall, first of all?
Well, think about... Oh, there we go. Think about the word itself, right? A wall that stops fire from coming through it. I mean, that's the origin of the word. What it means is an electronic wall that stops bad stuff from coming through onto your computer. So a firewall can either be one of two things. It can be a hardware device, like a router, or a dedicated unit so like a security guard, or it can be a software program that runs on your computer that, again, guards your computer. It looks at everything that comes through from the internet and checks to make sure that it's okay.
In some cases, a firewall blocks incoming and outgoing traffic. In some cases, it has to let it through. For instance, if you're going to surf the web, it has to let it through. And in that case, it might look at the traffic that's coming through to make sure it's safe. So it can either block it, let it through, or inspect it. Let's take a look at some initial solutions, which are software solutions. Of course, Windows has a firewall. XP has a firewall built in.
And really, and I know you've for a long time recommended turn Windows Firewall on.
At least turn that on. If nothing else, turn that on. Yeah.
So let's
That'll
go
protect you against SASR, some of these network worms that come in. That's right. But the problem with the Windows Firewall is it's one way. Even on SP2, it blocks incoming traffic, doesn't look at outgoing traffic. No. So that can be a problem. If you get something on your system, you won't know because it's got free access to the internet.
Well, Windows Firewall has been upgraded under SP2 Service Pack 2 for XP, and actually does have a little. It's not part of Windows Firewall. It's part of the Service Pack that will let you know if somebody's trying to send email.
Only email, though.
Only email. Yeah. Right. So it's not perfect. A
little better.
But for people who want free, it's a good idea. So you're going to click on Start. You're going to go to Control Panel, and we're going to go. When you install SP2, you actually
it actually adds a control panel. That's nice.
Yeah, Windows Firewall. So you double click on that, and it's on by default when you install that.
As it should be.
As it should be. There's a whole bunch of exceptions if you have problems with chat or video or whatever.
These are those holes I was talking about. You can punch holes in the firewall to allow certain kinds of traffic.
But one of the things I like about it is you can actually, if you're on a wireless laptop and you go to a foreign wireless network that you're worried about, you can actually say, the exceptions I use at home. Let me just turn all those off for the time being.
Just a quick on-off switch.
So that's the basic thing that everybody should do just for security.
Now, if I buy a commercial firewall or I run a free one like the Seagate we're going to show in a second, should I turn off the Windows Firewall, or does SP2 turn it off automatically?
I don't know.
I think normally we say don't have two firewalls, but I think in this case, because SP2 knows you have another firewall, you're probably okay to leave it on.
Probably okay. Sort of like going to the airport and getting checked by two people.
Well, yeah, sometimes they can conflict.
Right, exactly.
Who wants to be checked by two people?
So there are a couple of free firewalls that are like an upgrade to Windows Firewall on the internet that you can download. Zone Alarm is one.
Now we're using the paid version.
So we're using the paid version here, Zone Alarm Pro, which actually looks at outbound traffic as well as inbound traffic.
Although the free Zone Alarm is pretty darn good.
It is pretty good,
I think for most people, that's all they need.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to pop over to my laptop here.
This is the one I like now. This is my new favorite, the Seagate Personal Firewall.
We'll look at.
And this is free.
This is free.
For non-commercial use.
There's a pro version as well, that sort of thing. So, but Seagate.com and ZoneAlarm.com, both two places you can go and just download them, try them out. The problem with these two, of course, is their software. They get the hooks into the Windows operating system. They can cause conflicts and problems and crashes and things like that.
Inevitably, the Windows Firewall doesn't because it's built into the operating system. Inevitably, when you install something more elaborate like this, you cause problems with a certain percentage of computers. Yeah. So a certain number of people who are watching are going to install it, and it's going to crash their system.
Right.
And they're going to say, Andy, Leo, what did you do to me? Right. Well, we warned you. Right. So if you don't want to install a software firewall, is there an option that's less intrusive?
Even if you have only one computer at home, don't have a network, I recommend that you actually use a network router, a physical network router. Now,
frankly, I think that for most people, this is all you need.
This is really all you need. This is a very simple, D-Link network router. It has wireless on board. But
so the key on this, and we'll take the wireless thing out, though, is the internet comes in through this port.
Yes.
And it goes out through these ports.
Right.
But the bad guys can't see the computers on these ports. It only sees this box.
It uses a technology called network address translation, or NAT. You hear people talk about NAT all the time. And basically, it presents one address to the internet and hides all the other computers behind it.
So they can attack this box all they want. They're not going to get anything out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. I mean, I think for most people that's sufficient, really.
That is, you're right. And these are so affordable these days. The non-wireless versions are $40, $50, $60, and the wireless versions are a little bit more. But I want to mention that you can actually get an upgrade to these guys.
A little more elaborate router.
Right.
Yeah.
This Netgear one has a firewall built in. It uses a technology.
It says on it, firewall
router.
In fact, I'll show you what I'll do is I'll show you the box here. Sorry, Basil. I'm making Basil queasy. It says firewall router right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And what it does is it uses a technology called SPI, or stateful packet inspection, which basically is a security guard that's going through your bag.
Right.
Every time you come into the building, oh, what's in here? Okay, and it looks very carefully at the stuff that's coming in, as opposed to network translation, which kind of hides stuff.
Right. So this has network address translation. It still hides you, but it's also looking at the traffic to make sure it's safe. This stateful packet inspection is what the professional firewalls like
exactly.
Checkpoint use. Yeah.
And finally, if you're super paranoid, and I have to thank these guys, WatchGuard is a small business firewall-only device.
They make a hardware firewall.
The company that makes a hardware firewall, $300, $400, $500, $600, and you can actually, for home use and whatever, and that'll give you superpower. Like if you're a super protection, if you're a NASA scientist and you're working at home, perhaps you want one of these.
Many businesses use these because this is the ultimate way to, and businesses are very worried, but I guess more and more home users have stuff on their system they don't want to risk.
Right, and if you're ultra paranoid, WatchGuard's the thing.
I'll tell you what I use. I use a NAT router, and that's it. I don't use software firewalls. I do turn on the Windows firewall just in case, but the NAT router to me is all I really I need, and I haven't had any problem.
Very good.
That's what I would recommend. For more information on which firewall you should get for your computer, whether it's a one-computer household or an entire network like Stephen has, check out our show notes, callforhelptv.com. Thank you, Andy. Great explanation. And I do like this. This is my new favorite, the Seagate personal firewall.
Yes.
Have you been using that?
Just a little bit, but I find it's not as annoying as
exactly.
the
Zone Alarm can kind of give you a lot of alarms. The problem with Zone Alarm is they started throwing everything with the kitchen sink in that program.
Yeah.
Seagate's still pretty simple, although for a novice user, it's maybe a little more than they want to know. Sometimes it can overwhelm you. Okay. Hey, let's take a break and take our daily quiz. You ready to test your upstairs smart stuff there? Obviously, I need to test it. What does malware mean? What does malware mean? Is it short for malicious software? That new department store over there on Bloor? Is it an electronic shopping tag or a new fashions from Malaysia? That's what Monica wears, malware. Get to the website and give us the answer. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues. Welcome back to Call for Help. In just a few minutes, we're going to get our free file of the day. Monica has fun with photos. F-O-T-O-S, she spells that. But first, let's get another call. Fun with photos.
Fun with photos, yeah, I know.
Who's on the line
I'm like
here?
Laughing my head off over here, and
You're
you'll
what?
find out why.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you having a good time? Are you having real fun with photos?
I'm always having fun with photos.
No, and you can do some mean things, too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have. We have Alex from London, Ontario on NetCam.
That's great. Hello, Alex. How are you?
How are you?
I'm very good. Welcome to the show.
Okay, I have a question about MP3 files burned to a music CD.
Oh, cool.
I have a whole pile of WMA files from PureTrack.
Yep.
And I'm trying to burn them and then rip them back so I can put them in MP3 files.
Yes, of course.
And I was wondering if there's any way to find out the original bit rate after the CD's burned.
After you burn an audio CD?
Yeah.
No.
So you can use the original bit rate, not a higher one.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Why give it more detail than it had in the first place?
Yeah,
why make your files any bigger than it has to?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of problems with that. First of all, once you make an audio CD, you've decompressed it. This is why it works, by the way. You're removing the copy protection by eliminating the WMA format entirely, converting it to CDDA, which is the audio format for an audio CD. It's uncompressed. It's basically like a wave.
Okay.
So it has no information in it at all about how it was compressed. It doesn't even know it was a compressed song.
Oh.
Unfortunately. So you've lost all that information. Yeah. Now you're recompressing it to MP3. Even if you knew, the problem is the bit rate used on WMA doesn't correspond to the bit rate on MP3.
Oh, doesn't it?
No, WMA is actually superior to MP3 at lower bit rates. So you'll find a pure track song burned, ripped at 128,000 bits per second, or 128 kilobits. That actually is going to sound better than an MP3 ripped at 128 kilobits.
Oh, okay.
So you wouldn't, you know, you couldn't say, well, I'm just going to make it. You probably could figure out a conversion factor. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, that's probably the equivalent of a 160 kilobit MP3. But I don't know. You know, this is mostly based on my own. Oh yeah, that sounds better. What I would suggest is you've decompressed it. You've made an audio disc. I would consider that as high a quality, you know, as almost as a regular audio disc, and I would rip it at whatever you rip your normal audio CDs at. Do you do 128 for MP3 or 160?
Well, I'm using Music Match to rip, and I have it set at 320. Is that too high?
That's really too high, yeah.
Okay.
I would say 160.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, now I remember I have old ears. You're a young guy, Alex, and you don't have old ears like me. And of course, the first thing that happens with your hearing is you lose the high end and you lose some of the discrimination in audio. But the folks at Dolby Labs took me into their very special testing chamber in San Francisco, an anechoic chamber with $20,000 speakers, Rebel speakers. And the guy said, I'm going to just do a little test on you here. And he threw on a Steely Dan audio CD, and then he played it A-B comparisons between that and MP3s. First he did the audio CD, completely uncompressed, with 128 kilobit MP3. And he said, which is which? And I said, well, I can tell. That's the MP3. There was a slight difference. He went to 160, indistinguishable. Now, this was Cousin Dupree, which is the most recent Steely Dan CD. It's not a very complex CD. It's not like choral music or symphonic music where there's a lot going on. But if you're listening to kind of rock and roll or jazz, I would say 160 is good enough. 192 is probably more than any normal human ear could hear the difference. I'll be honest with you. There are those who say, oh, no, I can tell. And Patrick Norton, my old friend, my old co-host on the Screensavers, he ripped everything at 320. But you understand that's going to take twice as much space on your MP3 player as 160.
Yeah.
That's half the songs on your MP3 player. So you have to. That's where your trade-off is. I would suggest to you, Alex, because this music was already compressed, certainly no point in doing it at the highest quality.
Okay.
I would suggest 160.
Okay.
And then one thing you might want to consider is using variable bit rate. Say 160, and Music Match will do this, and say, if you need more, take a little bit more. That's what variable bit rate means. It means record at 160, but if you got a really complex passage that you think would help to go to 192, go to 192. And most MP3 players can handle VBR.
Okay.
So that'll give you a little headroom. I think, if considering it was compressed already, no need to go past 160.
Okay, perfect.
All right, Alex?
Thank you.
Hey, I thank you for the call.
Yep.
It's great to see you. Take care.
Yep, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, it's time to walk on over to Monica's place and see what she's been up to with these photos. Let me stride on over. Hello, Basil. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Love Basil. This is great. He's got that voodoo doll back. You better watch out. Hey, Monica.
Hi, Leo.
What's Monster got for us today?
Well, our free file for today is the in-album animated screensaver.
In-album animated screensaver. That's hard. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
What does it do?
So the in-album.
In-album.
And what basically it's a program where you can put together a photo show.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
And it's a screensaver.
Yeah, and you can make you a screensaver.
This is for Windows?
Yep, this is for Windows.
Let's see.
So, so you open up, this is your main screen. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. And so let's open this one up for now. So this is the one I started to work on.
Oh, you can do text too?
Yeah, you can. Look at that. So let's get edit.
Oh, I
show.
like that.
Yeah, I kind of started off.
Now, what's that thing on your mouth there?
I recorded my voice.
So if you click it?
And yeah, and it'll say what you've recorded.
Oh, that's cute.
So let's go to edit show, and I'll show you what different things you can do. So you can collect photos, of course, upload it from your folder files, and then you can edit them, photo editor using special effects and such.
Well, this is really a nice looking program. It's very
nice.
Yeah.
And you can customize your template right here, so you can add borders, the colors, and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot to show, but I'll just give you the generic stuff. So transitions,
so there's a little transition.
Intro page. Now this is the fun part. You can decorate the show. You can add band-aids, little hearts.
Oh, I love that.
Put little, it's drag and drop.
Put big eyebrows on Mom.
Yeah, so you can do that. All sorts of stuff.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've
And
ever
there's a lot
seen.
of interactive stuff as well. And I'll show you that later. So you can add speech bubbles, sound effects, music, and again, there you can record your voice. So you can do that with every photo. I've only used 5 right now just because we don't have a whole lot
And
of
that
time.
little thing on your mouth is, if I click that, it'll play a sound? Is that
Yeah,
the idea?
I'm not sure if...
I don't know if we can hear it, but...
I'll work on that after.
Yeah. But now it's a screensaver, so they would just have to move.
Yeah.
They would have to see it, and they would have to click it right then.
Exactly. So let's say...
Let's see what it...
So
can we
let's
see the
say
final?
finish editing.
Okay.
Yep.
And this will work with the standard Windows screensaver. Here's our
Yeah,
screensaver.
exactly. So it's there, and then you've got your options here on the side. Can you see that? So you can send it by email to your friends,
neat.
or make it a screensaver. So here
Oh, it's not just a screensaver. It could be a video as well.
yeah, it could be a video, and this is great for weddings
Oh,
or birthdays.
yeah.
If you
Do
want
a
to put
wedding
together
album.
a nice little show for a person, you know.
Yeah.
So I did this already, and I've made it into a screensaver.
Let's see.
So let's
The Call
play
for
it.
Help screensaver, directed by Monica Latanwa. Oh, I liked it. Oh, dear. Once again, messing with poor Andy. Oh, dear. I like the hair. Very attractive.
I love it.
Fishy.
It is a great program. I absolutely love
That's
it.
fun. And you did like a negative effect with that, huh?
Yeah. I was playing with the
What's the name of this again? In-album?
in-album animated screensaver.
And we have a link to download it along with all of our free files
Yeah.
at callforhelptv.com. Can you put this on the website so they can download this one?
Yeah, let's try.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
tell
try
Jay
that,
we want to
yeah.
put this one up there because I'm sure there are some masochists
whole
who would
lot
like
of
to have that
different
on their hard drive. We'll upload Monica's screensaver for you along with the program that you can make your very own. Maybe if you make a good one, you can email it to us and we'll show it
Yeah,
on the
that would
show.
be
That would be
cool.
fun,
Yeah,
wouldn't
we'll
it?
feature that.
Monica at callforhelptv.com. Fill her inbox. On the other side of the break, our new office expert is here, Heather McBurney. She's going to show us some very cool office tricks. Stick around as Call for Help continues. That is fun. This is great. You put a lot in? Yes. Oh, you kind of use that one? Welcome back to Call for Help. Joining us now, Heather McBurney. She's a master instructor who teaches Microsoft Office certification to all ranges of ability from novice beginners all the way to programmers. She's been a master instructor for several years and was a standards application instructor prior to that. And you work for Lexis Incorporated?
Yep, Lexis Business Analysis.
That's good. So you go to companies and you teach them how to use programs.
Yes.
But the most interest in Word, in Excel, in PowerPoint. Which of the Office programs does there seem to be the most interest?
Probably right now would be a lot of Word and Excel. A lot of people are trying to advance their skills in Microsoft Excel for analysis.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. But PowerPoint is a lot of fun.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Now today you're going to show us a little trick that anybody can use in their PowerPoint presentation. I have a speech coming up next week, and I'd love to use this. A little subliminal message in there?
Yes.
Show us how you do it, Heather.
What we're going to be looking at is, with a schedule, we'd like to inform the audience of a piece of text, but we don't actually want to say this
Belabor the
verbally.
point.
Yes. So what we'd like to do is illustrate that this schedule is going to be an aggressive schedule.
Okay, so you're kind of telling your audience, I know it's aggressive, but you don't want to say it out loud.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So simply how we do this, we're going to insert a text box, and I just want to insert the text box where I'd like the subliminal message to appear.
Okay.
So I'm just going to type in my text.
Aggressive.
Aggressive.
This is an aggressive schedule.
Okay. Going to select it, and I want to insert a custom animation. Custom animation appears.
So this is kind of like transition animations.
It is exactly transition
Okay.
animations. Now it's called animation effects.
This is in Office 2003.
Yes, it is.
They've changed it a little bit.
So I'm going to add an effect for the entrance of this text, and I just want it to appear. Now I can choose many different effects, but I'm just going to choose the first
Appear is just
selection.
gonna pop up without
Yeah,
any
pop up
movement.
on the screen.
Okay.
I'm then going to add a second effect on how I'd like this text to exit off the screen. Okay? And in this case, I'm just going to choose spiral out.
Because that'll really get, that'll get their eyes.
Exactly,
I got it.
exactly. So to
Can
demonstrate...
you set how long it's going to take to do that?
Yes, you can. What we can do at any point in time is specify the speed
Okay.
for either one of these effects.
And for
You know,
subliminal, you kind of want it to be pretty quick,
pretty
right?
quick.
Yeah.
And how this is advancing is on click. So I have control of
So
how
you can
long
control it.
this text is going to appear.
Now, could you make it so that it's automatic without?
Yes, you can.
How would
Yes,
you do
can.
that?
What we can do is go into any of the custom and customize this. We can affect the options, go into the options of the effect, tell it to dim, illustrate a
Oh, wow.
sound,
You can
and
really
so
get
forth. So
fancy.
there's many timings
Holy
and
cow.
so forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see. All right, so this is
Okay.
pretty straightforward. You're just going to have it
Very
appear
straightforward.
on click. So the slide will already be there.
Yep.
And then you're going to have it, when you click again, out.
Advance off.
All right, so let's go
Okay.
full screen here. We're going to see, this is Heather's slideshow in which she's going to tell the Salesforce it's an aggressive schedule.
Okay.
Without really telling them that.
So let's view the show.
Okay.
And I'm going to quickly jump to that slide, which happened to be slide 8.
By the way, that's kind of a neat trick just there. You just hit the number of the slide.
Just hit the number of the slide and
on the
press
keyboard
enter.
and press enter, and it'll jump right to
Yeah,
it.
or another quick trick actually is you can right-click and choose which slide you'd like to go to.
Oh, that's really handy. If you don't know what number it is ahead of
Exactly,
time.
gives you the title.
That's very
So what I'm going
handy.
to do is just advance to the next
Okay,
slide.
so notice there's nothing about aggressiveness here. She's talking, and then all of a sudden,
Go to the next slide.
next slide, she
Press
sneaks in
it.
aggressiveness. Woo!
It disappears.
I love it. And most people will go, what? But you'll get it in your brain, right?
Hence subliminal messages. Yeah.
Heather McBurney, you're the greatest. We're going to have you come back if you don't mind. Maybe do some
you, that'd be
Word and
great.
Excel and PowerPoint stuff for us.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Every week for the next couple of weeks. Heather McBurney, if you want to know more about how to do this and all of her office tips, our website is callforhelp.com. And she works for, say it again,
Lexus Business Analysis.
and that's at lexinc.com. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. More phone calls to come. Stick around as Call for Help continues. Don't go away. I love that. That's really great. And you could also have it move in sideways or move out or all sorts of stuff. I might use that. We're going to get lots more Microsoft Windows. Let's see. No, it's okay, Fido. It's okay. It's okay. He hates Windows. Shh, shh. We'll get more Microsoft Windows Office tips a little bit later on. Every week from now on. It's either
Heather
Fido or
didn't go
John
through
C.
there, did
Dvorak.
she?
I think Dvorak lives back there. Anyway, let's take some more of your calls. Monica Latanwa. Huh?
Heather didn't go through there, did she?
No, did she? No. Was that how she left? I don't think there's anything. Is there anything back there? Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. We'll find out. I think Mikey has a cot back there. He lives back there.
Oh no, Andy, what
We got to carve a little. Dog's getting him. We got to carve a little
puppy.
moon in there.
a little
Just a
chihuahua.
little puppy.
Oh, we got another caller on the line here, Monica.
We do. Steve from Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Leo. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm very good. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Pretty good. I've got a problem with a laptop. I need to flash the BIOS. The problem is the floppy drive is damaged on the unit.
Oh.
And I want to know if I can use another way, another source for the BIOS
For the BIOS boot. Yeah.
read to.
Well, as
during
you
the-
know, I mean, flashing the BIOS is probably the most risky thing you can do to a computer, even more so on a laptop. What you're doing is you're changing the software that starts the computer up. Anything goes wrong, you cannot start the computer up to fix it.
Right.
You have a dead computer, and I say this because I've done it, you know. And the way I did it was I was, you know, smart, and I was going to flash the BIOS. I didn't follow the instructions exactly. That, you know, when you flash the BIOS, the company that makes the computer will give you some software that you're supposed to run in DOS so that nothing else is going on. And then you flash, you run this program, it copies the new data into that BIOS chip, and you reboot, and all goes well as long as you don't lose power or whatever. Well, I thought, oh, I don't need a boot disk, I don't need DOS, I'll just do this in Windows. I'll just run it in the command, you know, box in Windows.
Okay.
I have a very nice doorstop I'd be glad to sell you for. I mean, literally, I ruined the computer. So,
Okay.
so be careful. Now, you're thinking maybe I could put it on a thumb drive, a USB drive. You can't do that because it has to boot to DOS. And most computers cannot yet boot from thumb drives, and even those that can aren't going to run DOS because the USB drivers, I mean, maybe yours can, some of the newer computers can. Do you have a CD-ROM in there?
I do have a CD.
Okay.
Yes.
Then here's what I would suggest. On another computer with a CD burner, make a bootable CD-ROM.
Okay.
It will look exactly like a DOS boot disk to the computer.
Okay.
And you can do it with any of the burning programs. We have Nero on here, so I'm going to show you how to do it with Nero. What you'll have to do is you start with a floppy disk that is bootable. Okay. Do you have a bootable floppy disk, or can you make one? All right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, by the way, a Windows disk. It could be DOS 4. It doesn't really matter. In fact, very often when you download these Flash programs, they will actually make this DOS disk for you. You just stick the disk. You download the program from the motherboard manufacturer or the computer manufacturer, stick a floppy in the computer. It'll actually make this floppy disk. Do that. Make that. But now what you have to do is, using your burning program, you have to make a bootable CD-ROM. And in Nero, this is how it looks in Nero. I mean, it's going to be different in every program. But you see here, it says CD-ROM boot. Okay, so I'm going to select that. And the very first thing it'll do is it'll say, okay, I need a floppy that I can boot from. It'll say bootable logical drive must fit on the CD, and in this case we're going to say A. You could actually do it from an image file as well, but this is probably the most reliable system. So you're going to say new. It's going to now ask me for the floppy drive. When I do the burn, it'll burn, and you can burn other things on here, by the way, because the floppy is only 1 megabyte. But really, all you need is the software, the Flash software. So you're going to actually make a bootable CD with the bootable floppy disk. And now you can take that CD, move it over to your laptop, boot to it. It'll boot. It'll be on the A drive, just as if it had booted from a floppy. The software will be there, and you should be able to continue to your Flash.
Oh, okay.
Clever, eh? Andrew Walker has a suggestion.
Yes, for those that don't know where to get their BIOS updates, there's a really good resource on the web.
Oh, that's great. What is that?
It's called wimsbios.com, WIMSBIOS.com.
WIMSBIOS.com, yeah. Usually if it's a PC, a desktop, you'd go to the motherboard manufacturer. If it's a laptop, obviously the laptop manufacturer will be responsible. Why do you want to update the BIOS there, Stephen?
It's hanging. The computer freezes up for no apparent reason, and there's a known issue with this particular laptop that BIOS Flash takes care of.
Perfect.
There's actually the BIOS version that I'm running on is like there's been 5 since then. So
I strongly suggest that you only do this in a case like that, where it's a known problem, and doing the BIOS will fix it. It's not the kind of update you want to do just because there's a newer version, because it's such a risky thing to do. But you've got a very good reason to do it.
Okay.
Okay, Steve. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And you can actually, if you don't have a program that will make a bootable CD, you can download Nero from Nero.com and use it for 30 days free. So that's enough to make your boot CD. Nero.com. All right, one more chance to take our daily quiz here. Now, this is our question of the day. I want you can do it on the website or just do it in your own mind. But answer this question: what is malware? Malware short for? Short guy named Mal? No. Malicious software? New department store? Electronic shopping tags? Or the latest fashions from Malaysia? Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Call for Help. Before the break, we asked you what malware meant. It's malicious software. The reason they had to come up with a new term for it, they used to call them viruses, but then there's Trojan horses, which is a different kind of virus, and then there's worms, which is a different kind of, and then there's, spyware. Pretty soon it just became so complicated, they just said, well, what if we call it malware, just kind of malicious software? And that covers the whole waterfront of possibilities. Although people still use viruses, Trojan horses, worms, spyware, to be more specific. Hey, it's time for Monsters Click of the Day.
Yep.
I like this one.
Yeah,
is this a free file?
Hello. Yes, it's
This is a free file.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of stuff I'm featuring are actually free.
Why pay when you can get great stuff for nothing?
Exactly. I like free stuff.
Hello. This comes from Picasa, which was just bought by Google.
Yeah. So basically, Hello, it's an instant messenger and photo sharing
Together. Two
in
applications in one.
Yeah. So if you're used to instant messaging programs, you can use Hello, no problem.
Okay. But you really wouldn't use it just as an instant messenger. I mean, the idea mostly is to share photos. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I've got Andy over on the other side, and he's logged on to Hello as well. So I want to send a picture to Andy.
You're going to send this
right?
Super Shoppers cover?
Yeah, exactly. So you can use Picasa or just your Explorer. You don't need to use Picasa, but it's
Picasa integrates well with it, and it is free, another free download. So
let's say I want to send this picture of himself.
That's a lovely picture.
Click on Send to Hello, and yes, I want to send that one.
All I can say is it's a good thing I brought a camera in the first few weeks of the show, because we're really getting a lot of mileage out of these.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think where was that? That was at that restaurant we went to lunch.
Check this out.
What was the name of that? Milestones?
Yeah, Milestones.
Yeah, that was fun.
So I just sent him a message, and he gets his thumbnail. Did you get it?
I did.
Yep. Oh,
Wow, that's
see,
fast.
like that.
Now, that's one of the things that's neat. Now, of course, we're on a local area network, so it's going to be pretty quick. But even over the internet, it's very
pretty fast. Yeah. So right now, if you could look at my screen right here where my cursor
You can see what you can see what
is.
Andy's looking at.
Yep.
on the
I
screen.
can tell
That he's looking at that.
that he's looking at that picture.
That's the other fun thing. You can see which pictures your correspondents are interested in. And it's almost always pictures of themselves. Don't you find? They just stay on those.
Yeah, so you can keep track of what you're sending them and what they're looking at.
Right.
To make sure,
Right.
too, that they received your picture.
That's really cool. So this, if you had pictures of a wedding and you wanted to talk to the bride and she was, or maybe mom, send pictures of the grandkids, something like that. This is just great.
Exactly. Or I was like, hey, check out Leo drunk.
No, there's no pictures of me drunk. No, are there? No, you didn't get it.
Maybe.
Another great feature.
Although we did have those. Never mind. That was a little bull, right, on the on the glass.
That's right.
I remember that.
Margaritas.
I think I remember that.
So another great feature of Hello is you can upload your picture to your blog.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So
Now, this you have to have Blogger to another
yes, you have-
Google product.
Yeah,
of
you have
course,
to be signed into Blogger.
Okay.
So if, let's say I want to send another picture from Picasa, I'll send this one, the same one. Okay, send hello.
And you can you add text as well? And all?
Yep. So a little captioning here is like, what to do.
Oh, that's neat. This is Blogger Bot.
Yeah, Blogger bot. And then, so you type a caption, publish.
Ooh, it even makes a...
Yeah.
And now we're going to your blog?
Exactly.
Look at that!
Ta-da!
Wow.
And it's updated instantly.
That was pretty quick.
It's very quick.
That's really neat.
Very easy.
The program is called
Hello.
from hello.com
Yeah.
or visit our website, callforhelptv.com, for this and many, many more free files of the day. Thank you, Monica.
There's a lot of features to this which I didn't get a chance to mention.
No, I
because
love
I'll
it.
be on the show,
I
but
love it. It's really great, yeah.
great.
We have another caller?
We do.
Let me walk.
We do. We've got Paul from Aurelia, Ontario.
All right. Is that how you say it, Aurelia?
Aurelia.
Hey, Basil.
Aurelia.
Good to see you. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Fine, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on.
What can I do for you today?
Well, a while ago, I upgraded my computer and put Windows XP and all that in it.
Yep.
And I've decided to start playing some MP3s and CDs that I have on it, just to listen in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening is when I play them, whether it be on a CD or on the computer itself, an MP3 file, I get a lot of dropouts.
No.
Plays long and then drops out and then comes back.
Does it happen when you're doing something or just kind of randomly? Or?
It happens even if I'm sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah. It's possible. And that's part of the problem is XP takes more memory. It takes more. It does more stuff in the background. It's always doing something, even when you're not doing something. It really is more of a demand on the system resources. So I'm thinking, this computer, does it have a sound card, or is it the motherboard sound? The sound that's
It's the one built into the motherboard.
Yeah, okay, that would explain it. The motherboards, when you get the inexpensive motherboard sound, nothing wrong with it. Most of the time, unless it's a higher-end computer, it's using the main processor to render the sound, to decompress the MP3 and play it back.
Yeah.
So if the main processor gets busy, of course it's going to pause. It's not going to be able to keep up with the decompression. How fast is the processor?
Well, it's a 2600.
Well, that's a
AMD
very
2600.
fast processor. That
Very
should
fast.
be that should be fast enough. How much RAM do you have?
512.
Well, you got plenty of memory too. In fact, really, that machine is more than powerful enough to
Well,
run
I know
XP.
it should work because I loaded that Knoppix program you guys are always talking about.
Yeah.
And if I use Knoppix to play them, it plays fine.
No problem.
No problem
Well,
at
sounds
all.
like XP is the problem. The one thing I might look at is getting the latest sound driver for that card. Make sure that you, for that motherboard, make sure you have the latest motherboard drivers and so forth. Go to the manufacturer of the computer or of the motherboard. Did you build it yourself, or is it a...
I built it myself.
All right,
and
so then you
it
know
is
what
all
the
latest
motherboard
files.
is. Yeah, go to the motherboard's website. See if they have later drivers, particularly for the chipset. Sometimes that can be a problem. And of course, if it continues to be a problem, you can always add for $10, $20
Well, that's what I was wondering, whether it's better to get a
PCI audio card, because that audio card will have on it a what's called a digital signal processor, a DSP chip, that will do the work. So it offloads the microprocessor. But I'm wondering, because you got a fast computer. It should be fast enough to do both. So I'm wondering if it maybe is more of a driver issue. Does that sound right to you,
I
Andy?
did one thing. I went into my system config utility there.
Yeah.
And I turned off everything in...
Oh, but there's so much more going on in Windows. You also have to go to the services. The real problem is the services. So if you go to...
well, I disabled all the services, all the boot INI, all the...
And you're still getting that happening.
And
that sounds like a driver problem then to me. It doesn't sound like it, because a 2600 plus is a very fast processor. So
well,
I would say, and particularly because it's XP, I would say go to that motherboard manufacturer. Who made the motherboard?
MSI.
Yeah, MSI's great, but you want to make sure you have the latest drivers, especially for the chipset. Is it a VIA chipset? Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would see if you can get a later version of the VIA drivers.
Oh, I can try that.
Give it a shot, Paul.
Okay, then.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. And yeah, external sound card, a PCI sound card certainly will help because it'll offload. But I'm worried because it's the CDs also. CDs is not doing any processing on the CD. It's just playing it back. It should just pass it right through. So I think it's a driver issue is what I think.
Yeah, well, he could probably plug his headset into the headset jack on the
Yeah,
CD
see how it's doing when it's playing back from the CD.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And see if that's a problem.
Maybe the CD is skipping. Although if it only does it with XP, it's got to be software, don't you think?
Sounds like it to me. Smells like it to me.
Got that new driver smell. Stick around when we come back. I'm going to tell you how you can get a hold of us, be a part of the show on Call for Help. Don't go away. Welcome back to Call for Help. If you want to join us in the show, we love to get your calls. You can tell that's really what the show is all about. Best way to do it, you could send me an email, but the best way to do it is go to this website right here. And right there on the front page, you'll say, ask us a question. There's a form, and that's why we like it best, because we get information from the form about what operating system you're using, whether you have a netcam, things like that. And by the way, if you've got a netcam, you're much more likely to get on the show because we'd love to see you when we talk to you. Callforhelptv.com is the place to go. Monica, sorry I rushed you on the hello. Did you want to show? There was one other thing you wanted to show everybody?
Yeah, there's something I forgot to mention, or I didn't get a chance to. The icon that sits on the system tray for hello, if you right-click on that, you can send a picture of your window or a screenshot.
Oh, that's cool.
To your friend.
This is an interesting story, Picasa and hello. This was created by Idea Lab, which was venture funded by, I can't remember his name, great guy, who said, why don't we create a company that is designed to incubate small companies, individual entrepreneurs with great ideas, maybe kind of grow them, give them some space to work, some funds, and grow them. And Idea Lab has done really well. This is an Idea Lab product, as was Picasa. And of course, they just sold to Google. I don't know for how much, but I imagine they made a little bit of money on that. So it's kind of neat. There's some other great Idea Lab products out there, too.
Yeah.
But you don't go to idealab.com, or I guess you could, but you go to the individual product site.
Was this in the East Bay in San Francisco?
No, I think it's in Los Angeles area.
Los Angeles area.
Yeah. I cannot remember the name of the guy who started it. He it's escaping me. He made a lot of money in the software industry early on when there was money to be made, and is putting it back in.
That's great. It's good to hear.
Good.
Andy Walker, Monica Latano, it's been great having you. Thanks to all the folks you see at the bottom of the screen here who make this show possible. We couldn't do it without them, but most importantly, thanks to you. It's your show. Remember, if you've got a problem with your personal confuser, don't whine, don't moan, don't yelp, don't beat it up. Monica's, there's some dents, I think, on this computer. Just call for help, will you? Have a great day. We'll see you next time. This is the problem with these.